What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing new media. Now, I talk about some things that they don't want to talk about, or at least no one else I've seen is really talking about this. Now, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, he's had some layoffs in his career. Recently, he returned on a Showtime card, and it was against Willie Nelson, 6'4", very tall, 6'3", 6'4", powerful, comes from a good schooling, the Midwest, where a lot of people emerged. He sparred with pretty much all the people, fought guys like Vanes Matarosan. And I thought Boo Boo Andrade looked really good in that particular fight. Very dominant performance, shutout against a taller power puncher. So that was a good win, a good bounce back win for him on network TV. And recently he just tweeted something which I want to kind of discuss. And this is regarding the upcoming fight with his old belt and the new title holder, Liam Smith, and a guy he's been calling out for years, Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez. So let's hear what he had to say. Now, Demetrius Andrade on his verified Twitter, he says, Oscar De La Hoya, Liam Smith, all of a sudden, the WBO 154-pound belt is important to Canelo. When I was the WBO champ, you never said my name. And he tweeted this August 6th. What he's saying is very factual, because there are several interviews. You guys, a simple Google search or YouTube search, you can find them. Demetrius Andrade even went as far as to call Canelo a bitch and say he doesn't want the fight. He trashed the Charlo brothers, Lara. He was calling out everyone in the 54-pound division, but he said, I want to fight the best. And this is a guy with an Olympic background, so you can't say, oh, who is this guy? I mean, he represented the United States of America in the Olympics, right? He beat Vanes Matarosan in a shutout fashion after he got knocked down. He went on and kind of did a Floyd Mayweather. You looked at guys like Floyd Mayweather, he didn't get knocked down, but he got hurt versus Shane Mosley, and he came back to rally and win every other round. So, I mean, things like that, you got to take into consideration who Vanes is, another Olympian that is very impressive. And then recently, he beat Willie Nelson, and he beat other middle-of-the-road guys like Brian Rose. So, what he's saying is true. He was the WBO champion. For me, I met Demetrius Andrade, cool dude. He looked good against Willie Nelson. Hopefully he gets the big fights that he's looking for. And it is a shocker that Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo seem to, for the first time in their last 5 fights, now they want to drop down to 54 to fight somebody at 54 when they were fighting at technically middleweight of 155, aka Canelo weight. And now they're going to fight a guy that the boxing populace hasn't really been familiar with or familiarized with. People probably know the Caleb Smith or Paul Smith better than they do Liam Smith, you know what I mean? And then they're putting it in a big venue in Texas, which seats like 90,000 people, which is another shocker to me. That doesn't seem, I don't know. I know there's a high Hispanic and Mexican population in Texas, so maybe they're trying to capitalize off that. They know what type of fight it is, but we'll see. We'll see what type of ticket sales. I just haven't heard much buzz regarding Canelo and Liam Smith. They did a press tour, but I would honestly say more people is talking about Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Brook, which is another fight you could say, it's kind of hypocritical or mismatched, but that fight already sold out in the UK, and I think it has a bit more buzz. I think it's more interesting. People really know who Kell Brook is, whether he's small or not, and they know who Gennady Golovkin is. But with this fight, we just seen Canelo face a welterweight in Amir Khan, and now he's facing a little-known 54-pounder, you know what I mean, who most considered to be probably the weakest link in terms of what he's proven to this point at the 154-pound division. So I agree with Andrade in that sense. Why all of a sudden is the belt important to you? Like when Gennady Golovkin was down your throat, like, hey, no, guys, give me my belt. And he was creating hashtags and calling you out aggressively after his win. I was at the fight live. Dominique Wade versus Golovkin, after he pulverized him in 2 rounds, he called you out and says, I want to fight Canelo, right? And then you seem to go the other way. Now you're fighting a 54-pounder, and it's not the 54-pounder that most people want to see you fight. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Demetrius Andrade? Hopefully he comes back soon. He didn't look ring rusty in his last performance, so hopefully he keeps getting the big fights. Charlo brother may be in the horizon. You have other great fights that are very close to being done. J. Rock Williams versus the Charlo brother. So there's some action in the 154-pound division, and I'm just trying to see kind of like a Super 6 style tournament with all those great fights, who emerges the top of the pack. And I think Andrade has a strong chance to be one of the remaining or the lasting few people of that whole crop. Let me know what you guys think of Andrade calling out De La Hoya and Canelo at 54, saying, now why is the WBO championship belt so important to you? But when I was calling you out when I had the belt, you didn't really seem to care about the belt. And neither did the fans. And that's what's coming to, that's what boxing is becoming to. Boxing fans are cowards. A lot of them are cowards. Not everyone, because obviously this is the sport I love. And I know that there are a lot of good fans who call it how they see, and they're not going to let their emotions take over. But there are a lot of cowardly fans that are very vocal, and they'll actually celebrate guys like Carl Frampton ducking Rigondeaux multiple times, Leo Santa Cruz ducking Rigondeaux. They'll celebrate Demetrius Andrade calling Canelo a bitch and never getting an opportunity. Like, oh, who is Andrade? Nobody cares. They celebrate Andrade's inactivity, or Andre Ward's inactivity, or whoever they think is a threat. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they know skills pay the bills, and they know that's a competitive fight, and they know what Canelo struggles with, they know what Andrade struggles with, and they look at the stylistic matchup, and a lot of people would just rather make excuses than see outcomes. But me, I'm all about outcomes. If Andrade went in there with Canelo, I'm not saying it's an easy fight, but if he loses, he loses. At least we get to see it. You know what I mean? If he beats Andrade, then if he beats Canelo, a star is born. Period. And we need to get boxing back to that, instead of like, oh, who's Andrade? Because the dumbest thing, and this is what new media does, it's like roaches. When you turn on the light and they just scatter, that's what new media, I'm going to shine that light on all these subjects, all these double standards, all these things going on in boxing. And when you shine that light, you'll see what is being said. And don't just take my word for it. Read the comments, see what people are saying, and see what adds up and what makes sense. So you can't say Demetrius Andrade, he's not a big enough star, but then fight Liam Smith, because Andrade is more celebrated and known than a guy like Liam Smith, and he has a better resume to this point. Vanes Martirosyan and Willie Nelson is better than Thompson or anybody else Liam Smith has fought to this point, right? So you can't do that. Or let's say, using your logic, Andrade is not a big enough star. Why didn't you fight Gennady Golovkin when you were the lineal middleweight champion? He's a big enough star. He's doing good numbers on HBO Million Plus, but you didn't. So any way you slice it, whether you want to say Andrade is or isn't a big enough star, other people like Golovkin are big enough stars, and you still didn't take that fight, right? And we all know in the bottom of our hearts, Andrade is a more skilled fighter, and he's more known and more exposure than Liam Smith, especially in the United States where the fight would happen. It'd be one thing if Canelo was doing like Golovkin, and I'm not saying Golovkin versus Brook is the greatest fight, because I do think that Golovkin clearly has the advantage in that, but at least Golovkin, if you want to say it's a mismatch, at least he's fighting Kell Brook in Kell Brook's backyard. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to fight in the UK, but maybe he wanted to give him the hometown advantage just to make the fight more competitive. Canelo's not even doing that. Canelo's not going to Manchester or Liverpool or the UK or London to fight Liam Smith. He's fighting where he has the hometown advantage, in Texas, where he's fought before. He fought James Kirkland there. He fought Austin Trout there, right? So he holds all the cards. He's the favorite to win. He's fighting with the hometown advantage. Not that he's from Texas, but we all know the distance from Texas to Mexico. And we all know the demographic of Texas has a high Hispanic population. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? And that's why they stage it there. So at least give Liam Smith more of an opportunity to win by putting it in New York, somewhere that's more neutral, or put it in the UK, you know what I'm saying, to spice it up like Golovkin's doing. Let me know what you guys think of Demetrius Andrade's tweets. Drop it in the comment section. Who do you want to see Canelo fight next, Andrade fight next? And drop that in the comment section. Share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.